Sweet. Yes, works.
All right. All right. 3, 2. Hi, welcome to the YMI podcast, the podcast for good advice for bad people, because we're all bad in some way. All right. Well, this is hard doing the intro because this is my second time doing it,
Yeah.
and I think the first time I fucked up. I think I said why I am. So a lot of
Look-
people don't know what I don't even know what the
Let me
name
try,
of this
let me
podcast is.
Let
Go
me
ahead,
try,
go
let me
ahead, go ahead.
Wait, how'd you start? All right. This is the YMI podcast. Good advice for bad people, because we're all bad in some way.
Oh, yours is better.
Yeah, that's
You got that deep shit going on.
Yeah, you
know?
gotta get that chest shit in there like this.
You like that Keith? It's like,
Yeah.
welcome to the late night Keith Sweat Hotel.
All right.
Sit back, relax, and let it flow.
See, hear the sounds of my voice soothe you. But this is like it's like those fucking apps where it's like you meditate with it.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like right here. Oh, that's dope.
Anyways, I'm your host, Day One Reg, and this is CJ.
Yep.
It's my
What's up,
friend.
guys?
Tell them about yourself for a little bit.
Well, my name is CJ. It stands for Carl Joshua.
Oh, you
Yeah.
actually said it.
Yep. I mean, I don't give a fuck. At this point, it's like, it's whatever. But I'm 22 years old now. Something about me.
I mean, you are 22. Fuck.
Yeah. Met this dude when I was
Like 14.
I was turning 14.
Yeah, now you're
Yep,
13,
I was
dude.
I was 13 turning 14, but
I think I was 18 already.
you just graduated high school
Yeah.
around
It's
that
been a
time.
hot minute.
Long time. It doesn't seem like it, but yeah. A little about me. There's nothing much to know except I'm just your average Joe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. There's nothing really special. I dance, so yeah, I'm part of the b-boy community, hip hop community, or whatever. And yeah, just like to have fun and shit. Living life, trying to get through. Oops.
I mean, well, everyone is a little bit more than average, and that's why we have everyone on the show.
Yep. Yeah.
It's called Why Am I? I almost fucked it up again. It's called Why Am I because it's kind of a little bit more than who a person is and what they do. It's more about like why they do things, and like no one really thinks about that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's kind of lets people go through their paces and check who they are.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be a lot of relatable things in your own way. Because I feel like everyone goes through the same thing, but it's
in
like
a
just-
different way.
yeah,
It's kind
exactly.
of weird. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I think, see, that's really interesting that you said that because, yeah, I think a lot of us notice that a lot of us go through a lot of the same things. And then at the same time, a lot of people try and fix a lot of those same things the same way, and it never really works out that way.
It all comes down to actually realizing what you're doing, and yeah, guess that's why we're here. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's like the whole perspective thing. And it's like I think I brought this up in the last podcast, and this won't be the last podcast I bring this up because I always talk about it. It's like the people who look up like advice off of articles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's good to have a basis for that, but you can't really use that to fix your whole problem because
Yeah.
it's not catered to that person.
It's just like an outline or something like
yeah,
that.
basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And I feel like that's why there's a lot of people that have, I don't know, because there's a lot of ways to deal with your situations, especially with like people like Gary Vee and like fucking,
Oh yeah.
I don't know, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
it's like you can hear the same thing from him from another person that doesn't have that status, but it's just different outlines to the same I don't
Same
know,
thing. Yeah.
same thing, But
It's like everyone has a common goal, but it's the whole thing about like everyone's journey is a little different.
yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like that's why I started a podcast.
yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
it's basically this is my way of getting to the everyone's place that everyone to the place everyone's trying to get to.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like, and where that is, nobody fucking knows. It's just
Yeah,
we're just going somewhere.
pretty much.
Yeah, but like we were saying, we met. God damn, what is that? 12.
It's 20. So I started high school in
12, right?
yeah, 2012, 2013.
So that's like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Holy shit! It would be
7
about 7
years.
years ago right
Yeah.
now.
Uh-huh.
Right now.
I still remember vividly how I met you. It was at Michael Leah's house in his it was like his little garage compartment house or something like that.
Yeah, he lived in the back room, the sunroom. Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, this dude's an asshole. It's just the way you looked, like, I don't know, man. That's all I remember. And then we were breaking that night, and then from there, it just kind of shit just happened.
Yeah. So back in high school, around my junior year, me and two friends started a. No, it's good, dude. It's cool. It's a fact.
Like
Me and two friends started a club because back then I was really big, which I kind of am now still a little bit, but I was really big into hip hop and dancing, and well, I didn't b-boy, but I popped, but I was really into hip hop
It's
and
all hip hop. Yeah.
and what everything stood for. So I started a club in high school, and I was basically it was the other two friends' idea, but I was the front runner. I was the guy that was running it
Making
because
everything happen.
I knew the teachers and I
Yeah.
knew.
The connections.
Yeah,
that's
everyone knew who
pretty
I
much it.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we won BBC that year. Yeah, shout out BBC.
BBC, rest in peace. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but anyways, so if after I left high school, what happened was Michael was still there for one more year, but we needed someone to run it, and that's where CJ came in, because he was this freshman who came in, and he wanted to break, and so he was learning how to break, and on
Yeah.
top of that, he was gonna take over the club, and that's how I met CJ, because obviously I wasn't in high school anymore, and Michael introduced us, and then
Yeah.
he was like, he's the one that I think he's gonna be running the club, and I was like, oh cool, let's see how he is.
I remember for the longest time I didn't know you made the club. I don't think until like maybe half of that year of being there for my freshman year I knew you made the club. Yeah, it was probably like around half the year.
Yeah, that's because now is about the time first time I remember meeting you. I remember meeting you at Michael's, but I remember you were quiet, and I said that. I remember you were like, "Why the fuck is he so quiet?"
Yeah.
Because
remember that.
I mean, not even because of the whole like, oh, he's a loser thing, but it's just because
no, I
you
get
know
it.
with breaking, that's the whole thing. It's like, oh, why is he so quiet? Why is he not going in or some shit? When it
Mhm.
comes to sessioning,
Right.
and not even breaking, just dancing in general.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
and we went to his house, and then I remember John being there and some other people.
Man, those are good days.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
everyone had guitars and
That was when we first like. Were you there when I think it was like Bim and Idrif, they went over. It was like our first time sessioning inside the house, and then we were like, "Yo, why don't we just session in your garage?" So we went in there, and that was like the beginning of using my garage for like the next like 4 or 5 years for like.
I don't remember
practice.
that. I don't remember.
You
that
probably
at
went.
all,
I don't
yeah.
think. Yeah, I don't think we met each other just yet, but
There's no way you met Drift and them before you met me.
then maybe we did meet already.
I just probably wasn't there.
Yeah, or maybe you came later on. I'm pretty sure you
Yeah.
probably came later on. That's how it usually went. So
Yeah, so CJ Spot ended up becoming the place to break and to session
the
because
training spot.
he had the garage and
Yeah.
eventually Nolium and like
Yeah, we went through a lot of them, but
it was insane. And then it was just like it was really interesting because not even back then, even now, you're probably one of my youngest friends. Like,
oh
because-
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
you telling me that.
yeah,
Yeah,
because back in the day, I had all older friends. They're all basically how old I am to you. They're all that much older than me.
yeah.
So I was like, I never had younger friends. And then, Michael introduced us, and I was like, oh, yeah, because you were taking this club, so I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure you're good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, this kid's actually smart. He's not a
Shit.
dumbass. Like,
Dude, because now I think about it, like, yeah, and like now that we're this age, having a friend that was like 13, that is pretty fucking.
yeah, when you're 18, you know what I
when
mean?
you're 18, yeah.
Even 14, like even it looks weird when it's 15. You're like, why are you 18 and have a 15-year-old friend?
But it was a common thing for me though. I never had like friends. Oh, I only had like a few friends my age, but I was mostly hanging out with people that were pretty much older than me.
Yeah, like we grew up the same way basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And like it was just really interesting because, like I said, you were the youngest, and you're like this age of my sister, and I always said like I would never really hang out with someone around my sister's age, not because
isn't your name CJ?
yeah, your name is CJ.
That's crazy.
I was like, the fuck?
Just flipped. That was it. But
Yeah, and I was just like, man, it's so weird because like I didn't want to hang out with people their age, not
Yeah.
because I didn't think they were dumb or anything.
it was just that
It's just like a generation gap. Yeah.
Even I noticed that with the people that I grew up with, it's like there was just this little thing we didn't connect to, and it was just basically being immature and shit. Realizing what we were doing at that age and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's how
but
it is.
it was
sometimes.
really interesting because despite the generation gap, I started noticing I didn't really give a fuck about like what my generation did versus what anyone else's
Right.
generation did.
Mhm.
And that's kind of around the first times where I started doing the whole thing about like who is not real. Well, I guess at first it would start off of who is a person and like
Yeah.
what do they do,
Mhm.
and like and then started leaning more towards like how do they think
Yeah.
and why do they think those things, not versus like like oh we're different generations we're not gonna
But
know.
it all comes down to like how that generation comes up, you know. Like for example, the whole Filipino thing, you know, like the
Yeah.
first generation, second generation.
There's like definitely different sources that go into not even a generation but an individual.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah. And I guess that's like for me that's how I kind of gauge everyone. It depends on how they all started up, you know. Um Especially going back to that Filipino situation, which a lot of people don't understand. When you grow up with like an Asian family, it's like there's like two types. Either they're really cool or they're really really strict, which ends up like really constricting a child and making them grow up, you know, not realizing a lot of the things that they're doing, which leads to like that whole lashing out stage in their life, you know.
Yeah,
So
the college ABG syndrome.
yeah, ABG.
that college ABG syndrome,
my
even though there
God.
can't really be ABGs over here
Yeah.
because that's a West Coast thing.
Yeah, man. I don't know, but that's pretty much like a small part of that whole like, how does this person think? You know,
Yeah.
it's like when you think about that just that one question holds like such a, I don't even know how to explain it. Like a big kind of understanding you're trying to have for, like, you know, per each individual, and it's like each individual has like this big type of world they have inside, you know, behind them that really
Right.
creates the person they are, and it's like
So you're talking
don't know.
about more of like, what is it, nurture?
yeah,
It's more of the nurture side
More of the
versus the
nurture.
nature.
yeah, you know,
Yeah, and I agree with that a lot, especially with like, what's that movie that just came out? Joker. That's where
yes,
that's
man.
where like
oh my
they really
God.
showed the nurture of
Uh-huh.
someone and how someone is a product of society.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you can't, I mean, like the whole point of that is that you can't really blame everything on what everyone takes
Yeah.
in. It's more about how you situate it and
Exactly. Cause
process it.
yeah, like you know, put anyone in that situation that Joker went through. You know, like I feel like personally for me, you can have your own opinion, but I feel like he was like a, you know, he was a good person. He was a decent person, you know. But it was just the place he was in and everything, you know, he was going through, and it's like that shit really fucking sucks. Like it'll fuck you up for sure.
But on the flip side of that, that could have made him a better person, too.
That's true,
Because
yeah.
it's like, see, this is the weird part about it. I always said this too, and I think it's. Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm not the first one to say this, but or even I probably heard it somewhere else. But it's more like villains and superheroes are made from the same
Same thing. Yeah,
way.
same
It's
way,
just more about which side are you leaning on.
yeah.
What are you gonna let affect what? You know what I mean?
With great power comes great
Okay.
responsibility. First.
We don't have the license to that, but okay.
That's why I said privilege first. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just really interesting to see people because it's weird because it's like the whole thing about like kids growing up with bad parents.
Yeah.
It's like you see some kids that grew up with bad parents that end up
End up
becoming really
moving.
great.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
do good and they have a nice
That is
family.
true. Yeah.
But then you also see kids who grow up with bad parents and they become worse than their parents.
Well, I feel like that expands more onto whoever ends up like getting to them. You know,
Yeah.
like if they end up leaving, it could be like a lot of factors. Like it could be just one, you know, one single person that
yeah,
changes your whole life. You know,
That's true.
and it's like it really is just where the universe kind of, you know, it like where it places you. I don't know. It is kind of confusing now to think about it in that way too, because it's like it goes to the whole like, if everything's supposed to be going the way it's supposed to go, why am I going through such a fucking shitty path or whatnot?
Yeah, it's just too many factors.
yeah, yeah.
But see, that's the whole point of like. I keep saying that's the whole point to to this podcast, and we said like 5 different things.
Yeah.
But like that's another point to this podcast. It's just like the only thing we can kind of control and kind of really shape is ourselves and like how we think.
As simple as it sounds, it's like it's also
It's
very,
literally the
very-
hardest thing to do
Yeah,
because
pretty much.
I know 13-year-olds who sound so confident in themselves, and I'm not even talking about like with energy and stuff like that. I'm talking about like, man, they really know what they want and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
whether or not they're bitchy or they're, a pussy or whatever.
Yeah,
It's just like, and I know 40-year-olds who don't know shit, who don't know themselves at all, and they kind of just go with the trends, and they're still like,
which baffles me a lot.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
there's,
weird.
There's like a lot of people like that. You know, the more you go out, the more you see like how everyone's still like, you know, down the road.
Yeah.
Like that shit is crazy. If
They're
you don't
like
change, you don't
looking back
change.
on you, but bitch, you're only like 2 blocks away from me. Who cares? Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's just so crazy because, you know, when we grow up, we always think like, oh man, like, you know, we're supposed to listen to our elders, and it's true for the most part. But once you start getting to the point where you start questioning stuff, if you even get to that point, see, the problem is a lot of people I feel like don't even get to that point. They
Right.
don't even question why do they believe a certain thing. I mean, I did that a lot when I was younger, only because I was not necessarily by myself, but mentally I felt like I was by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we go through this. We can't relate to people and stuff like that. I mean, you kind of go with the flow, and you start feeling yourself becoming a fuckboy or whatever a little
Yeah.
bit. Then you're like, oh, I don't really want that.
Exactly.
It was just a game at first, just to get
Just
people
to
to
get that
like
feeling,
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
To get that
get the
feeling
in.
of being like, oh yeah, I'm part of this.
Yeah.
Shit. As bad as it sounds, it really is like that though.
And the thing is, with I don't want to say people like us, but I noticed that you and me, we get to the point where it's like you can't go with it anymore because it's like I didn't really believe in that shit. But then we see the opposite, and we know people like this that literally is just group thing. They'll literally go with whatever the group thinks,
Yeah.
and they'll believe it. And it's not even fair to say that they were convincing themselves. It's just they actually believe it, not because they actually believe it, but it's more like the whole focus is on that they want to be part of a group, or they want to be at least accepted in some way, which there's nothing wrong with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to say like who's right and who's wrong.
It really just comes down to what you, personally for me, like what you notice. Like once you notice something, you just have to get somebody to have either get you to notice, or you'll stumble upon something that'll make you realize,
Right.
and then you'll never be able to go back after that. But I feel like a lot of people miss out on that opportunity, and then that's where the whole if you don't know, like, then it's not your fucking fault type of shit comes in, and you know.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and like that's definitely true. Like, I don't know, it was always weird to me to not be able to be accepted based on your individual traits
Yeah.
for anyone.
Because I feel okay, this is I don't honestly I think there's nothing wrong with us per se, but it's just because there's so many people that are like that way, that are with the whole you got to follow the group type thing, otherwise you're not really part of the group. Like literally it comes down to that. It's like I don't know, us having our own individual ideas and like things that we want to do, if it's not accepted, it really isn't accepted. And that's like it's more common than we would actually think, you know.
Yeah,
It's like
it really is.
to the point where we don't even realize that it's like that, you know. So, and I think that's like a big part of that whole, you know, not being able to truly, you know, you just feel different, you know. You feel the way we feel. It's like I don't, it's unexplainable.
Yeah, it is unexplainable because it's
unexplainable.
hard to fucking explain, and it's hard because then when you try to explain it and that person legit wants to listen
Yeah,
and you're trying to fucking explain it and they're like, that doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
And then you ask them why doesn't it make sense to them, and they can't explain that.
mm-hmm.
So it's just two people that can't explain shit, and
Yeah.
that's no one's fault. It's just really hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, or the fact is that you feel like you're explaining it, and the other person still doesn't get it. It's like I literally have I have no idea how other way to put it.
That ties back to like how we just don't want to. There's no one. It's not that we don't want to talk to anyone. It's just there's no point at that point. You know?
Yeah,
it's
and
like I don't know. I remember talking to Jasmine, my girlfriend, and she was like, she likes debating and all that stuff. Which yeah, I like debating sometimes. But when it comes to a person that like really holds it to the point where they're trying to
win.
put it against you,
Yeah,
you know, win. It's
that's
like
not-
there's
that's not
no point in that. You know.
I mean, that's a real debate, but my thing is like usually when we talk about debating like that and talking about stuff, especially with like personal stuff, it's not really a debate about who's right and who's wrong. It's more about like you two people trying to, or whatever, how many people trying to figure out a solution.
Yeah.
So it can't be like who's right and who's wrong. That's why even when I'm like talking to, when I used to get in fights with people, I'd be like, even if they're right, I'll tell them like, okay, you're right about that.
Yeah.
And that really fucks them up. I see it too. They'd be like, no, why would I not say you're right? I'm not trying to win here.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure shit out.
something Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it comes back to just them not wanting to listen. I guess that's when
and
it's
th-
like,
yeah, and that's
you
when
know.
it's like, that's why I like my thing is I really started to try and figure out if people really just want to listen or do they actually
Yeah.
just want to, win that.
Mm-hmm. It's like I
what,
remember.
what matters to them.
I remember my dad saying like, he's like, it's okay to like talk about your life with other people, but it's like sometimes they just wanna hear it so that they can talk about it.
Yeah,
Or just have something to say, or not truly actually listening and understanding to what you're actually saying. What you're putting out and whatnot, which sucks because that's a lot of people.
It is a lot of
Like
people.
a lot of people. Sometimes I won't lie, like I fall into that too. It's like I don't know. You just gotta catch yourself, I guess. And it's not anyone's fault. It's just one of those things where I don't know. You just trying to be someone.
Yeah, and it's just so weird because like I know you got in talks like this where it's like where you're complaining about something and someone's like, well, you just got to do this, and I was like, I can't. You're
Yeah.
like, no, but you can.
All the time.
You just don't let yourself. And I'm like, no, I legit can't.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not letting myself. It's like the whole. And I'm not talking about like physical things. I'm talking about like emotional things. Where it's
Yeah.
like, like I've literally been told before that. Basically, the truth isn't the truth. The truth is what people present to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's true.
no, that's stupid. To me, that's dumb because it's like, no, the truth is what happened.
Oh, okay.
Because someone could tell you anything, and if that's the truth, it's the truth that they want you to know. But with the way I am, it's like, no, the truth is what happened. Because if anything I've done, I could hide, and technically that's the truth, but it's not. It doesn't define why I am.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's like,
Why am I?
yeah,
Why
like,
am?
oh shit, I fucked it up again. But yeah,
Is it? Yeah. Why am I?
yeah, see, I gotta keep
We
looking
just
at
change
it.
it.
I'm about to just put it on here like a sticker, so I get
Yeah.
to be like, okay, it's why am I?
Yeah, that'd be dope actually, so you can see it in the camera.
Yeah. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, but it is. It's like because you're defined not by what you say. You're defined by
Your actions.
exactly.
Yeah.
See, so that's why it's like the truth is what happened.
Yeah.
That's why I like. I mean, I used to lie before, not a lot, but I was pretty good at lying, and I stopped doing it just because it's like, one, that's a lot of fucking energy. I got to remember what lie I told.
You gotta keep going.
You got to keep going for the
You
rest of
gotta
your
keep
fucking
going.
life.
Yeah. It's
And
not,
I
it's
just
not
the
good.
thing is, at the end of the day, you think like, okay, well, I still get what I want, but at the end, the whole end, it's like, it feels like you're carrying weights, man.
Yeah. It like, eventually all catches up to you, basically.
Yeah, I've always seen it. I've always
Mhm.
seen it catch up.
Yeah.
Even if people are like, nah, I'm good for now. It's been years. It's like, nah, you wait, bitch. Like,
Yeah. That's why
that
if you have
shit
some lies
catches
right now,
up.
get rid of them shits, because I'm telling you, that shit just gets heavy. and
Yeah,
heavy.
and it's just too much. It's way too much. And like,
Yeah.
people don't believe me, but that's like, I don't lie. I try not to lie.
Yeah.
It's just easier. Because that way, if people don't believe you, at least what it is they don't believe you. It's not because they don't believe you because you lied. It's because they just legit don't believe you.
Right.
It's an easier battle to fight than trying to be like, oh, well, I told them this, so I got to
Yeah.
tell them something else to
Well,
kind of push my own lie.
Mm-hmm. It kind of ties back to like what you were saying earlier before, where it's like you would much rather, like, if there's like a disagreement, like you kind of just solve it then and there,
Yeah.
rather than just holding it for later on or just extending it. It's like if I would have just tell you straight up like you look ugly, it's like, okay, now at least I look, I think you
Yeah,
look
like
ugly,
hate
but
me
it's
for
like-
me, you know? What I
Yeah,
mean?
but it's not like I hate you. It's just ideas. We bounce off ideas and whatnot.
Yeah, that's
so.
like fucking like this is a side note, but it's kind of the same thing. I've been playing Call of Duty lately. I got the new one. I'm
The
like
Modern Warfare.
I'm fucking max level, dude.
Oh my god.
I'm max level.
Already?
Yeah, because I'm a fucking nerd. So I'm playing, and it's so funny because fucking there's guys who will like the most OP thing in that game right now is like the shotgun.
That's what I tried it. It was the
That shit is 725.
it was a 2-shot, right?
Yeah, that shit is bullshit.
Yeah, that's like
I have a class
oh
for
my
it just
God.
because when I rage, I wanna. It has that in RPGs.
God dang.
But anyway,
really?
so it's so funny because I'll be playing and some guy's trying to kill me with 725, but I quickscope. I built a class just for quickscoping.
So you can quickscope in this game now?
You gotta find the right attachments. You can't do it though. I'll show you later. Like, it's fast. It's nice.
Okay.
So I'll be quickscoping. And quickscope's one hit kill.
Yeah.
So if you miss your 725 shot, or if I'm out of the range, you're
Mhm.
getting fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this guy's like, "Yo, man, what the fuck?" Like, he's saying I'm camping. First of all, I wasn't camping.
Yeah.
I just don't run after every corner. That's how you get shotgun to the face.
Exactly.
And he was like,
Strategy.
"You're camping, man." I was like, "Yo, you're using a shotgun that everyone believes is OP. Like literally, there's times where we get into lobbies and everyone in the lobby is like, "Hey, if no one uses shotguns in the lobby, I won't use shotgun. Can we agree on that?" And there's literally people that be like, "Yeah, okay, no shotgun, no shotgun."
Damn, this is a
And
thing.
right in the beginning. So
Uh-huh.
like where the loading the stage, they'd be like, "Hey, if no one uses shotguns, I have 4 people and we won't use shotguns." And you'd be like, "Okay, fine, no shotgun, no shotgun." But then
Ah.
you see one shotgun, everyone pulls out their fucking shotguns. It's so funny, dude.
Damn, modern shotgun. That's what this
Yeah,
should
but
be
it is.
called.
It's modern shotgun,
Modern
dude.
shotgun.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's kind of like it's weird that people complain about one thing, but then totally overlook their own thing that they did first
Yeah.
because it's some other person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember one of our friends. I'm not gonna say his name, but one of our friends, he was really, he had rules about it, what everyone should do. And then I remember he complained to Seth. I can say Seth's name.
Yeah.
He complained about Seth because Seth did something, but that friend did the same thing, and I was like, "So what? It doesn't apply to you because it's you, and it can only apply
I
to
hate
Seth."
that shit,
And the
man.
old dude was basically like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Wow, you're literal shit.
Yeah.
You're trash." like for real. Like it's kind of fucked up. Like at least if he was like, naive, or I don't even want to say ignorant because he would be naive
Mm-hmm.
to the fact of like, "Oh shit, like I guess that is me doing that. Like I
Right.
didn't notice that." No, you were just like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not hanging out with you anymore. You're
Yeah.
trash."
It's like people know that
Yeah.
they did it. They're just not gonna say it.
Like he expected me to be okay with it because he actually admitted to it. I was like, "No," because now you're even more trash because
Yeah.
and you're not fixing it.
Yep. That's how it goes. If you know, rather than being naive, that's when you're at fault.
That's when you're ignorant.
Yeah. That's when you're ignorant.
And it's so weird because a lot of people choose being ignorant, and it's just so weird.
Telling you, bro, it's a norm. That's why, like everything. I feel like that's how everything is run. It's like you have to be ignorant in order to.
But the thing is, like, people play it off like that's a fucking law of life, and they're like,
It sucks.
"No, that's how life is." I was like, "No, that's not how life is. It's just we all choose to do that."
Yeah.
Well, most people choose to do that. That's why it works because a lot of people do it. It's not
Yeah.
because it's actually how it works.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no way life actually works, but it's just weird that everyone chooses that and chooses to believe that shit
Mm-hmm.
to be ignorant. And it sucks because that's why I get into fucking situations I do, and people's like, "Well, it's because you're not playing the game," and I'm like, I'm not playing a fucking game. That's why it's fucking life." They would be like, first of all, why do I have to lie? Secondly, why do I have to pretend I'm ignorant about something that I know?
Yeah.
I know it.
Fuck you, man.
And it's
Shit.
not even a lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like the
exactly.
truth. That's what I'm saying. Like, we go back to the beginning about the whole thing about like, the truth is what people tell you. I was like, no, the truth is what happened.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing of like, if a tree falls into the forest, it doesn't make a sound, not despite, but not including all the different like, theories and,
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff about that. Is the truth is it does. It makes a sound. That's how physics work. Well, I don't even know if it's physics, but you know what I mean. That's how it
No,
works.
yeah, I got
Something
you.
hits something, it's gonna make a sound.
Right. Yeah.
This if no one's there to hear it, it still makes a sound. That's
Exactly.
the truth. The
Shit,
truth
I
is
like
what
that. Yeah.
the truth is what happened.
Yeah.
And honestly, in like from what I've seen, as long as I keep telling the truth, I'm not necessarily getting what I want, but man, like at least that's not on my mind of whether or not I should have told the truth, because
Yeah.
that's even a worse feeling.
Right.
And I've had that too, where it's like I lied about something, it didn't go the way I want, and then I keep thinking in my head like, man, I should have just told the truth,
Yeah.
and that's a horrible feeling.
That's
You
the
never get that
suckiest.
back.
Yeah. Exactly. Damn, man. But yeah.
It's just like it's just so weird because, yeah, people are fucking weird, dude. It's like it doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense, I guess, and that's fair to say too. It's like, and it's so weird because a lot of people I'm talking about, they've told me like, yeah, I want to be like that too, and
Mhm.
it's like, okay, well, you can. Like not necessarily like me, but like just they want to have all this weight taken off of them, and
Right.
like I'm not trying to. Well, some people I do tell them what to do because they ask me what do I do, but
Mhm.
most of the people I don't. I just say you need to figure it out. I'll help you figure it out,
Yeah.
but I'm
you
not gonna
gotta-
tell you what to do.
I mean, we can't because it's like.
We're not you.
Yeah. Exactly. Like it just comes down to that. Like we don't know your situation. we're not going through the exact same things, but we have like an outline that goes back to that shit too. It's like we only have an outline,
Yeah.
so it's up to you if you want to take that or not, or
Yeah, you
try
got
to understand
you
it.
got to
or
learn how
whatnot.
to adapt, man.
Yeah.
Like we had to do it. No one told us what to do.
It's because people want the easy way. Honestly, I feel like it comes down to that too. It's like whatever shortcut people can get to get what they want, they'll use that shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
Even if it's temporary
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Even if it's temporary glory or something that's not even worth it.
Well, that's because that's because there's so many types of those that you can jump onto like the next time. You know, once you're done with
Yeah.
that, it's like you just continue it over and over again, and it's like people don't realize it because once they start living that lifestyle, it's like that's the only way they can get by. They can't, once you start, the truth is like the heaviest thing basically, but it's like the weight that, it's like regularly exercising. It's like the more you work this shit out, the more stronger you'll get in, telling your truths and all
Yeah,
that
but
shit.
in my opinion, that's not even true. Like I get the whole thing about you get a hold out of it the more
Mhm.
times you do it. But man, that's just crippling yourself eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I see it as like you just. I was playing Gears actually. I remember.
everything's video game related.
Bro, yeah, honestly, yeah, movies, Jokers, fucking yeah, bro. But basically, the main character in this game, which is Kate, she has like these. She went through war basically, so she's having like PTSD basically, and then she asked Marcus, who was the main character for the last like 3 or 4 games. She's like, "Does it ever end?" He's like,
Marcus Phoenix, right?
Marcus Phoenix, yeah, and the only thing he says is it becomes tolerable. He doesn't say it gets easier. It's just that you see it so many times that you just, it's like you just get used to it. As sucky as it sounds, it's like the callousness is what helps you. Fucking Gordon Ramsay, bro. I'm telling you, he's like the thicker your skin, the more you'll the more successful you'll be because it's like you can handle fucking anything, But
Yeah, I get
what I
that,
think.
but to me, that's like that only applies to your mistakes,
that's true.
not everyone else's mistakes or everyone else's misgivings. That you can only do that to you, and not saying like, oh fuck, I did something bad, fuck what I did, I don't want to be sad about, but more like you start tolerating your guilt
Mm-hmm.
that you have. You don't feel guilty anymore, but you know what you did was wrong. So, and I talked about this on the other podcast. It was like people nowadays, before it was like it was hard to admit what you did. People nowadays, they don't mind admitting, they just don't want to go through the punishment.
Yeah, the easy way.
Yeah.
Fucking shortcuts, bitches. You can't do that.
Yeah, like, and it's so fucking weird because it's like the punishment part is what makes you feel, it's what actually lets you lose that guilt.
Yeah, because you're getting what you deserve.
Yeah, you feel it,
It's like
yeah.
payment, Yeah.
Yeah, like I've had people tell me before they didn't have to, like, if I really, well, this is fucked up because I said it like that, but I already started it, but it's like, where people, like, gave me shit, and I was like, I'll pay it back, and they're like, no, you need to pay it back, and I do, and I try to,
Mhm.
I try to, most of the part that I times that I don't pay people back because I legit can't, but that's what makes you get rid of that guilt, is
Mhm.
that it's like, it's not really a punishment when you think about it like that, but it is, kind of,
Yeah.
it's what you get.
Nah, I get you. Yeah.
And it's just it's crazy, man. Because I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and we were just talking about my life because we love talking about it, and it's so weird. I don't know why. I'm not even the one who brings it up. He brings it up, even though this is my podcast, and it sounds like all I do is talk about my life. It's
Uh-huh.
just weird because he. Other people like bring it up because they're like, man, how the fuck did you do that? How the fuck did you get into that? Like if I was like that, I would, end up
Mhm.
like this, and you're not. And I was like, well, one, I've always been on the outside of everybody,
Mhm.
kind of, in a way. Like I was usually taller than everyone we knew because I hanged out with nothing but fucking Filipinos, and like
Yeah.
they're all 5 foot, and I'm 5'10". It's like, and like we were just talking and about my situation recently, and he was just like saying, we were just talking, and he was like, people are selfish, and I was like, yeah, I know that. He was like, no, I know you know that, but he was like, what I'm trying to say is, one of the things that you do is you're trying to like get recognition from people that you know are selfish. And I was like, well, yeah, because it seems like I'm the only one. And he was like, you're not, but I know that's hard to say out loud because there's a lot of selfish people.
Yeah.
And you're taking the judgment of people that you think are selfish and holding it like you're talking to yourself. And I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that. Because I know some of the people I hang out with are selfish. And he was like, you're like trying to save everybody. And even you can't do it. But at the same time, you got to notice when things are done, you shouldn't take it too hard because those people aren't like you. And I was like, okay, like I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it doesn't make it any easier, but it's like, at least it makes sense.
Yeah, it made sense. Yeah,
because it's like, he's like, I know you can be selfish sometimes too, but for the most part, you're not. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it really feels like I can't. And that's what literally everyone tells me is like, you need to look out for yourself. You need to look out for yourself. You need to do this for yourself. And it's just weird because everything I do feels like it's for myself, even if it's for someone else.
Right.
Because obviously, if I didn't want to do it, I'm not gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking lazy. Like, if I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it.
Right. I don't know.
And it's a hard one. Yeah, it's a hard one because it still makes you feel like shit because it's like, man, there's a lot of fucking selfish people. Should I be selfish? And then at the end of the day, it's like, I can't really. And then it's at the other end of it, it's like, well, you just need to find people who are not selfish. And I was like, man, bitch, that's what I've been doing my whole life.
Yeah.
So I've been doing, well, since the minute I started feeling like, it's weird. Like, it's weird that I can't be accepted. Whatever. I can't get along with people who I know that aren't like me. It's like, do I only have to look for people who are like me, which is hard as fuck.
Because it's
not even just people like us, but like other people. Even if you are selfish, it's hard to find other people who are selfish like you.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I think there's no bad group. It's just like, how the fuck do we all get along?
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. And that's the shit. I think it's just because, man, we just don't relate. There's just nothing that we can. I think it's just because everyone just is being fake, bro. And it's like, as much as we say we probably don't, I feel like we genuinely, like, really, really don't, because we can get into anything, like we can get into whatever anyone, any of these groups, but it's just, I think it really does come down to like what their main goal or their main focus is or something like that, which I feel like myself, like I never really have a main goal whenever it comes to friends, but it's just like, there's nothing relatable or there's nothing that's like worth my time to actually pour into these people that are talking about certain things and having to put my energy into that shit. And it's just like, I don't know. At least that's how I feel whenever I can't relate to anybody, which is like a lot of the times. I mean, I had a best friend for 4 years and all of a sudden shit got cut off for, I don't even, it's just like stupid shit.
Yeah, I've done that like 4 times.
Yeah.
Already.
and it's like when you think about coming back to that person, being friends with them again, you're thinking about how, I don't know, like once you take a step outside, it's like you actually see that there's not much that was actually really relatable to, you know, like you were just, at least I was just kind of there just
compensating for them.
Yeah, compensating for them. And it's like, and I threw so much, like, no homo shit, but so much love, because they were like my brothers, and it's just like, when it's not reciprocated
love your
back.
Brothers, man. What the fuck?
Bro, I mean, but it's like, it's just, it sucks not getting that same. Maybe they were doing it in their way, but for me, it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't the same for me, at least. So maybe
you need
that's
people who care and not just people to hang out with.
Exactly, like hitting you up when
they're bored.
When they're bored or some second choice type shit. It's like, I don't know. Not meaning to say that I don't have friends now. Like I feel like the friends I have now are like the ones that are supposed to be here right now. It's like we hit each other up, regularly. It doesn't feel like there's any tension or like I have to be some type of way or some shit like that, which sucks because like I would like more friends, but it's like, is it worth trying to be with all these fucking people?
Is it worth trying to filter? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying too. Because I was getting scrutinized by a lot of people because like they're like, when's the last time you met someone new? I was like, 3 years ago when I met, and like they were like, why is this so long? I was like, first of all, people suck. Like, I hate people.
Bro, I don't know if we could talk about this, but that kind of reminds me of this whole thing about this like dating idea
that we were talking about before.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I can't, at least for me personally, I can't bring myself to just like tap into people. I see it as like
temporarily.
tapping into, yeah, because it's like I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been in a relationship for a long time, so I've only been in one, the one real one since like the beginning, basically the beginning of high school, and it's like maybe I just don't have that perspective of, I guess getting to know the other type of people. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's a waste of time sometimes. Like
think it
you
is
know what
too,
you
though.
want, and I get the whole thing about if you don't really know until you know. But it's just, I think about like just not even in a relationship, but like friends. Let's go back to that. It's just like you put in energy with with people that you think you're cool with, but then it's just like at the end of that, when you don't find what you want, it's like it's just there now. It's like you feel like you have an obligation to keep this going or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
and
you
I
know?
hate. That's how I know it's not a true friendship or a true
Exactly,
relationship or a
yeah.
true dating
Anything,
situation. Yeah.
If it's just obligations, it's just like this shit's not worth it.
And that's what I mean by the whole. You need people who actually care and not just people to hang out with.
Yeah,
I always told people that I was like, if you ever feel obligated to do something for me, never do it.
yeah,
Never fucking do it.
ever.
Unless it's like a bet, then that's a different type of obligation.
Well,
I mean, it's like
well,
you lost.
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think it really, for me, like with the friends I have now, it really is just when the dust settles. Like you don't really know somebody, until you've. I don't know. It's like when people say it's different living with your friends compared to just hanging out with them, seeing every day. You see a different side of them. You see who they really are. You see the true side of it. I know I've talked to a lot of people that get into relationships, stay for like a month or two. It was so fucking good in the beginning and all that shit, and then in the end, it's like. I don't like how he does this and blah blah blah. I was like, you said you loved that shit before,
yeah, like
you know?
didn't you? It's weird because like, did you not know that before?
Exactly,
That's what I say about people who've been dating for like literally over a year to 2 years. I'm like, did you not know all this before? Like,
yeah.
Why did you start
Go ahead.
having a relationship with this person?
Yeah,
You could date them and not be together yet. You know? What I mean?
yeah, like friends. Like I don't understand what's wrong with people just being friends, like actually getting to know each other type friends.
To me, that's
Maybe
still
people
dating.
I mean,
it's the
yeah,
same thing. It's just,
I get
there's
what
no
you're saying.
title.
Yeah, but it's like people. Maybe it's just mostly guys from what I've heard, but it's just like people just want to just jump into that shit.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just fucking lust, and then when they get it, it's like they just get lusty and shit. They want to get down and fucking saucy and whatnot. But
Well, it's like because that's everyone's still kind of on the high school type of dating for in my
which is
opinion.
fucking crazy because we're not in high school no more.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was still young and shit. I mean, I still am young, but it's like people that are like years older than me are still doing this shit, and it's like it makes sense to them. But to me, it's just like, when people are like trying to talk to me about it, I'm just like, man, I don't know what to fucking say,
I don't know either. It's just weird because it's like, okay, why did you start going out with this guy then? I was like, well, they were cool. I was like, yeah, but now you're boyfriend and girlfriend. You're like, yeah, what do you know about this person? Like, I mean,
yeah, no, I get
he
it.
does this, he goes here, he goes there. I was like, no, but what do you know about the person himself?
Yeah. It's like I want a boyfriend that just accepts me for who I am.
And we're not just talking about girls. We're not just talking about
Yeah.
girls. We're just so easier because most of the time we listen to girls. We're not listening to guys because the guys don't tell shit.
Yo, okay, let's be real. Girls, you like to talk about your shit. Guys just like to say they like to fuck.
It's hard. I'd be trying to get in my guys too. My guy friends would be
Yeah.
like, "Tell me, bitch. Tell me." No, I'm good. Like, I mean, it's not a bigger problem. That's what
It
all the
really-
guys
yeah.
say. Don't worry about it. It's not that big of a problem, bitch. I know you cry at night.
Yeah.
I know you do.
Oh, come on, bro. It's like guys don't wanna express it, but they automatically do through their actions already throughout the day. That's
you know how
it
you
is,
get your
man.
guy friends? You
How?
play Call of Duty. Back to Call of Duty. You
you go.
play Call of Duty because everyone tells everything in the fucking voice chat.
That's
It's so weird.
fucking
It's like
true.
it's like confessional for
Yeah.
church. You'd be like, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned." Frag. You know, like quick scope, bitch, get the fuck out of here.
What the fuck, yo? But yeah, this girl love her.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Nah, this girl being crazy though. Fuck, there's a guy on the right."
Oh
They
my
won't do
God.
that shit in person. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, some of my friends will, but like growing up, most of the time it wasn't.
Yeah.
We talked about all this shit
Behind
over
the screen,
phone,
bro.
screen-
Yeah,
because
that's how it was.
felt easier. Just like confessional. Like every time I did, because I'm Catholic, every time I did confession, I always did it with the fucking screen. I did not do that face to face because I was like, man, you gotta be brave going into confession, looking at a priest and telling him you watch porn 4 times that week. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do it. I can't do
Yeah.
it. I can't do it.
I mean, I feel like it's the same thing as that. Like, if you were to cheat on your fucking significant other, like you're not gonna. It's hard to, but and you should. Whoever it is, if you're gonna tell them, you better tell them straight up. But
I still commend the people who even do it through text. At
ah,
least they, at least,
shit,
well,
man.
I don't commend them, but I guess I feel better for the person who got cheated on because at least they still know.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
It's
I
still,
can see that.
it's still,
It's still fucked up.
it's still
But
fucked up.
yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, still fuck that person they cheated or whatever.
mhm.
But it's just like, man, like it's so sad because you ever like have friends who cheat on their spouse and then you go see your friend and their spouse and they're happy as fuck, and then the only thing you can fucking think about is like, man, this guy's shitty
Yeah.
or this person's shitty, and
I
like,
don't, I'm not friends with people like that, but I know people and I've seen people like that, which is a lot of people out here at least, and it's just like it's just so weird. Like I can't even. The reason why I can't be friends with them is because like I don't want those type of situations. Actually, I am kind of in that situation, but it's like I don't know. For me, I don't say anything because it's not my place to say. You know,
that's
whatever.
the weird part about it too.
Yeah, that's
what-
why I don't like being in that predicament where it's like, am I a good friend for not saying something because it's not part of my business, or am I a good friend because I am saying?
See, that's the
something?
weird part now. Like I'm
Yeah.
starting to redefine my definitions of friendship,
Uh-huh.
and I don't think I'm starting to lean a lot more towards honesty than loyalty. Because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people do some dumbass shit for loyalty.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to put out an extreme, if my friend murdered someone and then they wanted me to say I was with them here, I'll be like, dog, I can't do that for you. I'm not gonna turn you
Okay.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna turn
Just
you
don't
in.
bring me into that
But
shit.
I'm not gonna say I'm with you here because they
Yeah.
find out, then I'm going to fucking jail
Well,
too.
see, that's just selfish. Then at that point,
But
they don't
that's
understand. You
my
know?
whole point about the whole loyalty thing. A lot
Yeah.
of people play the loyalty thing once it's gonna benefit them,
Yeah.
not because they're actually loyal. And to me, there's a lot of loyalty in honesty. Like if I tell the truth and be like, man, I can't help you. Like I'm not trying to go against you, but it's just like for real, like, I can't. And I told Seth this before because he was being loud as fuck one time, and I was like, yo, if someone ever jumps you because like you disrespected them, you touched a girl, whatever, I'm not helping you. He was like, wait, why not? Like we're friends. I was like, no. That's the reason fucking why. Just because you're my friend doesn't mean I get to help you whenever you fucking want.
Right.
It's like I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
I won't let you die, but you will get your ass beat because you're
You
in the
deserve
wrong.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the whole point of me. And like with the whole situations about like normalized cheating thing, is like I can't help you, and I feel bad for that, especially when someone I do want to help, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I physically.
It's because they dug that hole for themselves.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's not for me to jump into.
So
and shit,
nowadays, I started just getting out,
yeah.
and it sucks because like I'm dropping friends that I really care about.
And
but
maybe that's like the thing that's like that block for like it maybe not be this situation, but it could be like for a whole bunch of type of situations where it's like, you know, would you have to be loyal to this person, or would you just rather be honest? And I don't know.
because in my ideal relationship, I would rather her be honest and loyal.
Yeah, of course.
Because like I've you always watch these TV shows and it's like the wife cheats on the husband to get the husband a better job or some shit.
Yeah,
I was like, technically that's loyalty.
I don't fuck with that.
I don't fuck with that
I don't
either. Like
with
fuck
shit at
that,
all.
bitch.
Yeah. Not only that, because it's like maybe this is just me being like prideful, but it's just I would want to earn my own place.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
No, that's what I'm. That's like, I want things to be natural,
Yeah, exactly.
and not natural and like everything's handed to me, but more like there's no effort.
Yeah.
Like no unnecessary effort.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's weird. You know what I mean? Like
Very weird.
I'm really not fucking with loyalty anymore. To me, if you're honest, you're loyal to yourself. You're loyal to what you stand
That's
for.
true. Yeah.
And if I fuck with you, it's not because I say I am, and now I'm forever loyal to you. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're not swearing fucking oaths here. You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe that goes back to that whole group thing. Like everyone's just loyal rather than honest.
Yeah.
You know.
and we've seen it a lot because
Yeah.
we've seen groups of friends who are down for each other, and it's great that they're down for each other, even though they talk so much shit around each other. But it's like, dog, you guys talk so much about each other. It's like you guys just shouldn't be friends.
It's like y'all are fucking married.
Yeah, I know, it's so
What the
weird. And
fuck?
it's just like holy shit. Because
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy, older guy, he's like in his 40s, about his like wife and some shit. And apparently, like 10 years ago, some shit, the wife went out with coworkers wearing like I don't know something moderate, And then she came back home. She was drunk, but she was wearing something different, like
Oh,
a
shit.
dress. And they're still married. And he was like, I don't know what she did that night, you know, and I'm not looking for it. But you know, if I ever find out that something he did happen that night, I'm out. And I'm like, this is weird because I understand both sides,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really. I think I do have a side I lean more towards, but the side I'm leaning more towards is everyone deserves the truth.
Yeah. That's
I,
what
if
feel
I
too.
was you, I can't take it. I have to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Hell yeah.
not even so I can be right and I can be mad, but it's just like I said, the truth is what happened, not what people tell you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shady. I mean, you know, shady things are shady things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just intense, dude. It's just like nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. So
Yeah.
to me, the only thing I could ever search for is what happened.
Right.
What's solid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yeah.
tangible.
Yeah.
And then that goes back because, like, to me, like if someone tells me the truth, they're just owning up to it. And it's like that's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. There's nothing holding you to that thought.
Doc,
at
there's a
least,
lot of
you
things
know?
I can forgive if someone just told me the truth straight up.
Exactly.
And not even, and this is like before I have to confront them about it to tell me the truth. I'm talking about like, even
they
if it
straight
takes
up
a
happen.
while and I don't know, but eventually they're like, hey man, like, I've always thought about this, but like, you know, last year I took like $20 from you. Like, but like, okay, well, first of all, you know, don't take shit from me again, but I'm glad you told me.
Yeah.
Just don't take shit from me again.
Yeah.
If you needed $20, just ask me, dude. Even though I don't have $20, but you know, it's
Yeah.
like,
And
but that's what it is.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least it's like, damn, like I didn't. It's not like I had suspicions and had the company be like, hey, bitch, like I heard you took $20 from me. He was like, yeah, man, but like, no, then you're a bitch. Then you're just someone who's trying to cover their shit because you got caught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's usually the truth for people that don't usually like. They would have a good reason for it if they would have to tell you, you know, which is good. You know, that's how you know you can at least they're a trustful type of person or something like that. But yeah, what's the next one here?
It's just like we just been going off the cuff, and that's usually how I do it.
That's fine with me. Shit.
I
Yeah.
just been going off, and like I mean, we pretty much hit everything,
Yeah.
and it's just because this is what we talk about. This is the whole point of the podcast. There's another point. That's like what 6 points already.
Why am
6
I?
points. It's
Why
like
am I? Why?
you just talk,
Yeah.
and to me, that's how we get a good podcast, and that's how we get a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking for the past 40 or 50 minutes already.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. See, it doesn't seem like it
It does not at
because
all.
you just bounce off each other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that's how it is.
Mhm.
Because, and that's how I want this podcast to be, is to be that natural feeling
Yeah.
that it sounds like a conversation, because it is.
Yeah.
Most
Not,
of,
not only that, but it's like there's no answer to this. It's just
conjecture.
ideas.
This is
Yeah.
my idea,
Mm,
and
pick
I
your
want to know.
brain.
I want to know people's different ideas,
Right. Mm-hmm.
because I see a lot of dumbass ideas, and I need to know who has a dumbass idea for right now
Right.
versus whatever, and I want to see who changes and who changed and whatever.
Yeah. Not only that, but I feel like it just gives perspective to know, like, I don't know. I guess for me growing up, because a lot of people say you need to do dumb shit in order to actually learn, but I feel like personally, I don't think so. Like, a lot of the reason why I feel like I probably matured, especially hanging out with like older people, is just learning through their
Yeah,
experiences.
you just watch
know?
what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
I did the same
hearing
thing.
what they did, it's like you're not really part of it, but you're just there to. I guess you were just there to listen, you know, and taking in those perspectives, not really having to go through it, but it just molds more into what I'm supposed to be seeing, or like how I'm acting, you know, based upon that. So.
Dude, I really think that younger kids should have older friends.
Oh yeah. for
There's
sure.
a lot of people who only had friends around their age because of school, and then it's like you're all learning the same shit at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even saying like you have to listen to what the older people say. It's just to me their situations mixed with my naiveness of how old I was made it a lot easier to deal with when I got into those situations versus me figuring all that shit out at that time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you were preset.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's how you get into some nasty shit when you're like 13, though. But still, like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because all your 13 and all your 17-year-old friends just trying to get their meat rolled and shit. You know?
Jesus Christ, man. I mean,
Shout
hey,
out Joe.
No judgment. No judgment over here. So, but yeah, I don't know. People are people are weird. No one's gonna understand themselves and shit ever.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a constant too. Like going back to that whole like having any older friends. I feel like even when you're older, it's like being just learning from people. Like doing this podcast, listening to podcasts, listening to anything you can. Like you can pretty much give you can keep changing your perspective because there's no right perspective for you. Everything's out there just to just basically mold you, which in turn for a lot of people, if you don't use it the right way, they end up just getting worse and worse. It's like they don't start to realize anything or realize what it is that they're going through, to actually make a change. It's just
but to me, that's what is interesting. Is the constant care is what helps you. Like you said, everyone changes their shit, but a lot of people only change their shit when things happen, when something traumatic happens or dramatic or something. It's like when they lose someone, when they gain a new boyfriend or girlfriend, and then it's like, man, that's weird. You only change whenever someone else changes.
do you agree with the whole everything changes within like 5 years type
Yeah,
of thing?
no, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know about perspectives and stuff like that, but there's definitely different factors now. You know what I mean? Because 5 years ago, where the fuck was I? What is it? 2019, 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know. That's like such a blur to me. Like after like everything between 2013 to like 2016 was like a fucking blur.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I really don't. I know I was in school, and I worked at Otani's.
It's funny because that's what it was for me. But from after I graduated high school, which was 2016 to until like now, actually to this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like everything's just been going.
That's what I've been trying to avoid again, is getting into the autopilot work, because I legit don't know what the fuck happened between those years.
Yep. I mean, I did all it is.
I don't know if that was because I was sad or whatever. It's just all I know is I don't want to get into that fucking state again.
See, but it took realizing that to actually make you know that you were missing all this shit out.
Yeah, and I have friends who talk about that shit now because they didn't have the gap after high school to feel that. They kind of had like they got straight into jobs, and now now that they're set in their job, now they're starting to feel it, and they're like, and I've legit had a friend tell me, he was like, it's not that I want to die, but at the same time, it's like I don't care if I did,
because there's no fulfillment.
Because I was like, it's because you're like this, and he was like, yeah, I know, but at the same time, like I feel like I don't want to do the other thing. I was like, well, then to me, all that tells me is you just need to make up your own mind.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you like, oh, you need to fucking do it now. It's just like you need to really sit yourself down and re-update, like I said.
Yeah.
Re-update your own thoughts. Why do you believe this?
And it takes that's why people try to take shortcuts for that shit, but there's no shortcuts in finding out like who you truly are. And I feel like this is something that the reason why you change is because the older you get, the more people you meet, the more experiences you are not it's not in your control to actually go through, which inevitably will change you, and all that stuff, and people don't want to factor that into trying to figure out what they want to fucking do. They're just stuck on, okay, I have to be set with this
by this time.
By this time. But it's like, and maybe it's just the society, but it's like we're like programmed to think that we have a time limit, and so whenever we hit that job or whenever we hit that peak of finding quote unquote what we're supposed to do, it's like, all right, I'm ready now, I'm good. Like if I were to die, like I'm set. But it's like each and every person out here has like a fucking, like, you're meant to fucking do something. It's just you have to take that process to go through the bads, all through the goods. But it's like if you were to choose on having to work really hard on school on a subject that you really didn't want to fucking do, or would you rather work harder for something? If you were to know what you want to do, work twice as hard and take that route. It's like, for me, I would take that shit, because it's like, it's not that we don't want to work. It's just you work harder when you find something
you
actually want to fucking do. And people don't realize that it takes work to find what you want to fucking do. It's like a whole process, but at least you're doing that rather than going through the motions of what you think or what society is supposed to tell you to fucking do.
Like I'm kind of the same way, because like I was in TTC for 6 years, because one was for money, because I didn't have fucking money. Of course. Two, like I mean, I was going with the whole psychology route, which I still wouldn't mind doing, but at the same time, I started thinking logically. I was like, man, I don't have $110,000 a year for my master's.
It's so crazy because when people say like they want us to do, we should do what we want to do. Like I like psychology, you like psychology. You know, obviously we like picking the brain and all that stuff and learning all that shit. But it's like like there's no set thing for us to actually be able to do it. You need like this amount of fucking money. You need this education. You need to basically start off really fucking good in order to actually make it for something like that. You know?
Yeah, like I talked to someone like that because I had a person telling me I have all this potential to do this, and this, and I was like, yeah, but I don't have the resources.
Exactly, and it all just comes down to that shit.
And
man.
then it's so funny because it's like they're blaming me. They're like, you're wasting your potential, and I'm like, I'm not, because I'm doing what I want. You know what I mean? Like it's great that I have the potential, but if you're telling me I have to gather my own resources, then use it to fulfill your aspect of my potential.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it on what I want to do.
Exactly.
What I think I should do with my potential.
Yeah.
Despite if you think that's good enough or not.
Yeah. I remember watching this video. It was like some Christian video, but actually what made really I feel like everyone notices this, but when the video came out, people were starting to say like, "Oh shit, like watch this. It's actually opened my eyes, blah blah." But it's like it was this church and they were out in the field, and they were basically saying like, take 2 steps forward if your family saved you money for college. Take 2 steps forward if you lived with 2 parents.
That was the racing one, right?
That one, yeah. And then they said that if you whoever reaches the end of the line wins like $100 or $200 or something like that. And then the pastor, he's being kind of real. He was like, you see, look around you guys right now. I bet you if everybody was in the same line, these black folks would probably smoke all
Yeah,
of
I was
you know that?
when he said that because it's true.
But he's like, see, but it's what is it's what we start out with and what is given to us in the beginning that makes, I don't know, basically I don't know how I'm trying to tie it back, but that's basically how people should see everybody, you know?
Yeah, it's like resource. The lack of resource or having a resource should be noted. And you know, whether it's money or even a house or 2 parents or I mean, I had 4 parents, but you know, that's a flex.
It's crazy though, because it's like I remember hearing this from somewhere. It was like one of these kids out here has the cure for cancer, but they just don't have like the education or like the way to actually learn or put their fucking knowledge to it.
And that goes back to the whole thing about us, everyone having their own guidelines, their own blueprint to whatever.
Exactly.
And it's just, to me, that's the potential. It's your blueprint. It's what are you following to make decisions. The why. That's the why.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, everyone has it, and everyone needs to kind of like look into their own.
You gotta keep questioning the why.
Yeah,
exactly.
Have
whys for your whys, have whys for your whys, and have even more whys for your fucking
whys.
Yeah,
and that's what I was saying. It was like people only. It's like everyone does it, but most people only do it when something happens. You know, parent dies, or you lose a dog, even. Or you can't go to the college you're planning to go to because all of a sudden you don't have money, or you know, something like that.
Okay, so would you say like, because this is like a big thing around people now, and even I'm kind of into it, but like the whole universe timing and like the universe will give it to you, or the universe sends signs or whatnot. Like, do you think that plays like a big part on this type of thing? You get what I'm saying?
I don't think the universe will give it to you. I do believe in signs for a little bit, because honestly, there's some freaky shit that happened to me where it's like signs happen. So I do believe in signs, but I don't believe in like signs like it's someone literally trying to tell you. It's more like a lot of coincidences happen. It's like, okay, you need to do something.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a specific thing you need to do, but there's something that you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't know. Like to me, that's where there's the things that we can't explain that happen to us.
I don't know. Personally, for me, I feel like as much as people don't believe it, I feel like the more you are fine-tuned into going on the right path, the harder it gets. But it's like that feeling is supposed to be like your recognition, or like your like you knowing that you're doing the right fucking thing, because there's no shortcuts to this shit, you know. And that I feel like that's like that blockage that everybody, you know, it's like it's a common thing. Like, you know, I'm in that, you know, you could be into that shit. Whoever's listening to this could be in this situation, you know, for a long fucking time. But it really just takes like that, you know, maybe it comes from that thing, like you said, like people, you know, something big happens. You know, your mom dies, so you're forced to do this and that, or you lost a friend, you lost a girlfriend, you lost your job, and it makes you think, like, it makes you snap back into that, and it's just like, I feel like people can still do that without having that big,
That's what I'm
you
saying.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it just takes them.
it's like
it-
they have to hit the rail in order to
Yeah,
come back to the center.
But it's just like having people realize that there's even a fucking rail or that there's even a road is like the hardest part. You know,
Yeah.
it's like they think that they really think that this is the way of life. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
There's no other fucking way.
Yeah.
And until you make them hit that shit is the only time they'll realize it. You know?
But it's crazy because it's never. It's like that's fine. You hit the rail, but if you're not knowing, like you said, that there's a lane, there's a road that you're on, all you're gonna do is just keep fucking hitting rails. Like eventually you'll
Exactly.
get there, and that's fine. But if you're only banking on eventually you'll get there, that's when you're wasting potential.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you could have got there just by thinking,
Mhm.
and not even like changing what you do. It's literally just
Yeah.
changing the way you feel about things.
Yeah.
Well, not the way you feel. You can't change the way you feel about things, but changing the way you think about things.
Yeah. And it really sucks because there's a lot of people, the majority of people that have died and, you know, lived throughout generations or whatever, like, that's like a thing that people don't realize, you know? Like, it really, really fucking sucks. But um, at this point, it just makes me wonder, like, is it their fault? You know, is it their fault that they weren't able to realize that? Or, like, I don't know. Because, I mean, thankfully, you know, I had, like, you, you know, or, like, me, you had that person that made you realize, or, you know, but what if somebody really doesn't have that shit, you know?
Yeah.
That's where it's like, what's supposed to be done from that? I don't know.
But see, I understand that too. And this is a weird thing. It's just like, even though like it's literally everyone's fault.
Yeah, that's true.
Not that it's solely
No,
that
no, yeah.
individual's
No, I get what
fault,
you're saying. Yeah.
but there's everyone. Like, yeah, okay, you had a shitty bring up. I can't blame everything on that. You still chose to be a shitty person.
Mhm.
Because, like I said, there's people who are brought up shitty, but who are great people now.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna blame on them?
And it really just comes down to your life, how you realize it. Just gotta start realizing now.
Yeah, but at the same time, I can't really blame that all on that person.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's hard. That's why we're doing this podcast to help realize, you know, or you know, pick the brain, really question, and it really does take that why. It's unsatisfying, but it's like at least you're questioning what you really need to fucking question, you know,
true.
and that's what is needs to be done. You're gonna ask questions anyway. There's questions every fucking way. There's like a million fucking questions. So which one are you gonna choose to fucking try to answer? You know, which one are you gonna keep going on to, or I don't know, which one's your question? You know? So I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
this we can go on forever, but I think this is probably a good place to stop. We've been talking for a hot minute now. We'll have you back. Yeah, we'll have you back on again, definitely.
Hell yeah.
It's just like Abby. Abby did the same thing. The first person I
Mhm.
interviewed,
I
I
like
think we
this.
talked for like an hour and 30.
Yeah, I feel like the more we got into it was when, you know, you started getting comfortable and then you
Yeah,
start flowing with it. But it's definitely kind of weird at first.
yeah, but that's the
Yeah.
whole point. That's
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah.
The camera just turned off. That's why I'm ending this too.
Shit.
That's bars right there.
Yeah. Ooh, shit, man.
So-
That's the next hit right there. Shit.
It sounded
Man.
like a Dr. Seuss thing.
But yeah, thanks for having me, man. Like this is fun. I'll definitely down to do this
get
again.
back
Man.
on. Yeah, I'll let you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you got anything you want to plug? Like, I heard that you guys might be having a jam.
Oh yeah,
eventually.
November 23rd. If anyone wants to come up, it's at Real Life Christian Church, starting at 5 o'clock, 5 to 9. No drugs, no alcohol. It's a family event. But if you want to learn about the hip hop community, you want to see some dance and whatnot, have some fun. You know, be
Yeah, I got
cool.
you.
Support me.
Cool,
Whatnot.
cool. Yeah. Do you still use any social medias that you want to plug or anything, or you just want to just have any advice?
I mean,
or
if
anything?
anyone wants to follow me, I don't usually go on there, but I sometimes post like, you know, dope events, whatnot, and dance videos. It's Zukgang, ZUKGNG. That's on Instagram. That's Twitter. And my advice in life is, well, if you're going to do a rough path, know that the airplane goes against the wind,
True,
not
man.
with it. So
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. I like that.
Flexum, that's from Flexum. So that wasn't from me. I don't have my own quotes. Yeah.
That's good. That's great, dude.
But yeah.
All right. Well,
Cool.
this is the end of the podcast. Question yourself, question your parents. They're not your real parents. No, I'm joking.
Hey, keep questioning.
Yeah, just keep
Can't stop
questioning
questioning.
everything, man. Question this podcast. Why are you listening to this podcast? I
Yeah.
don't care as long as you do it.
Yep. And tell a friend to question.
All right. Well, this has been Day One Reg, and here's my guest, CJ Suckgang. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Okay, bye.
Peace out, guys.